right, let's do it.
Welcome to the Forbidden Spot. It's, next to me is Jase Harley. Man, thanks a lot for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for having me.
You're in Prague now? You've been traveling around the world now?
Yeah.
What's up? Where have you been?
Note of warning, I'm a little high right now, so conducting the interview a little high. But so I might be a little slow with my words.
There's no police here, don't worry.
Yeah, nah, it's
and
good.
It's legal here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, high off life. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm in Prague. I'm just moving around Europe, just traveling, and just getting to see different things, meet different people, just expand my horizons as an artist, as a musician. I just want to get experience from everything.
Cool.
So, everywhere.
My first question: where does your inspiration come from? What inspires you?
Living, breathing. Every day that I wake up, every new memory, every new experience. That's why I just want to live. I think that's the key to inspiration, is just living. When you're able to live, the ideas just flow to your mind. You can just draw on things, you see things, When you're a real artist, you can pick apart life. Like a comedian, the way they pick apart life and then make comedy out of it. I pick apart life and make music and art out of it, so,
Cool. So how does your creative process look like? From the moment of idea up to like when you release it or whatever,
Be like water, That's one of my favorite quotes that I think Bruce Lee or somebody said. But anyway.
What I'm interested in, how does your creative process look like? Like from the idea up to realization, publishing stuff,
Yeah, it's different every single time. I'm starting to get in the flow of having, I think organization is something that a lot of artists struggle with. And, it's taken me a long time to get in the flow, but learning organization. And then as ideas flow in, you can kind of file them,
Of course, yeah.
Because you start seeing different inspiration, but you can kind of categorize it, at least for me, And so it's always different depending on what it is that I'm doing.
But like with music, for instance, okay, how do you write? Like do you write it all the time in your head?
Oh yeah.
Or in the studio only, or
Yeah, I'll make the beat. I always make my own beats from scratch. Sometimes I have friends come in, like, hey, play some keys or whatever. Especially, my good friend Eric Hall. Shout out to Eric Hall, at Eric Hall. Follow him. He's a great musician, good dude. And I surround myself with good people. I think that's the best process. I surround myself with my friends, and like I said, living is the inspiration. So that's always a part of the creative process. And then from there, I make a beat, and I come up with ideas, and then I go in the booth and I freestyle.
Yeah.
And so I'll write it line for line. I'll say something, palm trees in the open desert. And then, think about it. Making money is the only effort. Stop Xing bitches off. Yeah, I know, professor, but my patients wearing thin, they should know me better. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Where should I go from there? And then because I feel like it takes out a whole step of writing it down and then remembering how you're supposed to say it. And I think the faster you can go from just like the inception of it to the execution of it, the better. Cut out as many middle steps, because that's the inspiration, is just getting it down immediately. So that's what I try and do. And then I'll go back, if necessary, once I just freestyle whatever. I have drafts of different songs. I'll have 3-4 drafts, 5 drafts,
Recorded or written? Both?
Nothing written for the most part. I'll just, I'll freestyle stuff. And then once I feel like I have a basic template, then I can write and fill in. And like, okay, I think I should change this. I'm mostly writing in my head. And then I have friends as well that contribute to the creative process as well, but it's friends that I trust, that have known me since, we were kids. And they will always tell me, like, yo, that's whack, Okay. Like, my friends have no trouble telling me if something's corny. Like, yo, what are you, nah, bro, nah, man. Like, I don't surround myself with yes men. I want the brutal honesty. So I'll send drafts out to my friends, and they'll just be like, I don't know, I don't like it. Like, why? I can't tell you, I just don't like it. I'll be like, okay. And I go back to the drawing board and try to make things better, because I feel like if your friends don't appreciate it, then how can the world appreciate it?
Absolutely, yeah. we've talked quite a lot together about like copy and plagiarism and this kind of shit, you know, like, I mean, we as a brand are being copied, artists are being copied all the time, you know, like as we were saying.
All the time,
Picasso said like great artists copy, good artists copy, great artists steal, but still.
I don't really agree with that. Like, I don't agree with that statement. And the reason is, I think maybe great commercial artists steal. I think that's what they left out of it. Great commercial artists can steal and whatever, and they get rich, but not real artists, not the inspirational people, the people behind everything that we put emphasis on their legacy and what they're leaving to the earth. And you might have a flash in the pan kind of success. Some people, I think the copiers, you know, the people who are, you know, I think what it is, people get to a certain, you know, height, and then they run out of the inspiration because they're not around the inspiration. Yeah. They're not here. They're not in Prague. They're not in Life is Porno. They're not with the everyday people in the underground, the ones that actually matter. And, you know, they try to absorb the culture. And I'm not speaking about, this is a lot of people. I think this is honestly the music industry in general feeds off of the underground, but then doesn't give the underground the credit that it deserves. But I think it's always been like that. Great commercial artists steal. But I think as time progresses, we always make room for the actual inspiration. It might take longer, but eventually it happens. You know, it's about patience, timing. Timing is everything. Can't force it. It's got to be organic. That's what I always tell people. Has to be organic. Has to flow.
And it
I
works,
follow my gut. Absolutely, I follow my gut. That's the only way to live.
I mean, the reason why I'm asking, and it's, I don't want to go into details or anything, you know, like, but you've been into this like lately in the very last days, basically. That I'm more interested in when you have something that might have been inspired by you, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like huge commercial success. Like my question is like, what does you as an artist, what does your ego say, you know?
Again, there's no place for ego in creation. I don't think the ego is. You have to kill your ego. When you have ego, that's where you kill your inspiration, because you can never look at life from a standpoint outside of your own head. If you always put yourself first, you're never gonna. You have to be able to see the world from other perspectives. That's inspiration. Is being able to pick apart something, look across the street and see it from a different diagonal, you know? That's where inspiration comes from. And then you can make similarities. Well, I feel like this, but this person might feel like this, or this person acts like this, or whatever. And like I said before, I always allude to comedy because I feel like that's what comedians do. I think some of the best comedians are, in some ways, rappers. It's like, you know, I'm always looking for, you know, what's a good punchline, what's a good bar, but fitting it into my life. I don't ever want to be fake. I don't want to rap about fake life. I talk about my life. And I rap because I feel like I'm very good at it. You know what I mean? And so it just flows. I feel like I get to communicate my thoughts more effectively than, you know, doing it another way. You know, I just feel like I have a lot of ideas in my head, and I like to get them out. And then my music is therapy, so, you know.
And always a few steps ahead, right?
Yeah, you know, call myself a futurist because I do feel like I'm always in tune with where people are headed. I feel like I'm always ahead. Like, I don't know why. You know, I just feel like, you know, I'm just good at feeling out where things are going. I'm in the process of that. I'm living it, you know, and things are happening. And you know, I just feel blessed. And I'm just glad that I could be at this point. You know, it wasn't easy. So.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite kind of art? Is it music or is it visual art? What's that?
It's definitely visual art. I'm very visual. I love movies. Like, movies are my favorite. I'll sit and watch movies for like hours. I'm a dork. I love movies. And so like I feel like my motto, my music sound behind a movie. Like I always think like, how would this sound in a movie? Like, could this like score a soundtrack or like, you know, a film scene?
Yeah.
Like, I want my music to be able to play behind, you know, Game of Thrones. Like that's how I make music. Yeah,
so when talking about movies, what's your favorite top 3 or top 5? You know, like just give some inspiration to people to watch. You know, like.
Oh man!
If I had only like one day of life, you know, and I wanted to see as many like really, really good movies as possible.
It depends on the mood that I would say. What mood are you in? For one, you want comedy, you want a great comedy, or you want a great drama?
Something that really made a big impression on your way of
I'm gonna say
thinking.
if you like comedy, I would tell you to watch Trading Places. It's a great movie, features Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, and it has a lot to do with that movie stands for society as a whole, right? I think it's like, you just watch the movie, but they incorporated like great comedy, great acting, just the story and everything, and it's just a great movie how it all ends. And I think that is like a good movie you should start with.
All right. And one more, something deep?
Something deep. People are gonna get mad at me because people always do about Inception. I would tell you to watch the movie Inception.
Okay.
Because it's Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan, but there's like action in it, so you won't get really bored. And so people just know him for Batman, and it's like maybe you're not into Batman, maybe you're not into superhero stuff. I think you should watch Inception. It makes you think. You know, there's a lot of things about it. It's deep. Watch that.
All right. If I can let you be anyone for 24 hours, any artist, dead or alive, musician, whatever, what would it be? Who would it be?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Nice one. What would you tell Donald Trump if he was standing next to you now?
I would tell him, there's only one American Pharaoh. That's me, guy.
Okay, makes sense. What would you tell Kanye West if he was with Donald Trump, you know?
I would say, you guys, your hair matches. We don't do that where I'm from. We don't match the same hair. I don't know. I don't do that. And but they, you know, that's what I would say. I would just point out the fact that, you know, they both are blonde. I don't know if Kanye's still blonde though. Is he?
I have no idea.
I'm paying attention. Last time I saw him, he was blonde.
When talking about paying attention, do you look at what other musicians are doing, other artists are doing, or are you, because you said about like the futurism, you're like more looking ahead, or?
Always. I want to do what my biological like spirit tells me to do. I don't follow anything, no trends, and sometimes I feel like Noah building an ark in the middle of the desert. It's just like people are like, this guy is building a boat. Like, this guy is crazy. What is he doing? I feel like that a lot, but then it rains, and next thing you know, everybody else is drowning in the desert. You're in a nice big boat, enjoying your life. So that's just life.
Do you have an ultimate goal as an artist, as a musician?
Yeah, I think, well, at least me as an artist, legacy. I think legacy is everything. What you leave to this earth after you're gone. I think that's what matters the most. What's your legacy? What do you leave into the generations? And that's like why I say futurism.
Cool.
Futurism.
And before we go and grab something to eat, what advice would you give to 20-year-old yourself?
Keep doing what you're doing. Fuck what anybody tells you or what they think that you should do. Just keep following your heart, because you got a good head on your shoulders. That's what I would tell myself. Really. Yeah.
All right, so this was INSP.EAT with Jase Harley, amazing, talented musician, talented artist.
Thank you, man.
Urban futurism, right? That's
Urban
how it's
futurism.
Nice.
Urban futurism.
We'll put all the links behind, down. Man, thank you a lot.
Yeah,
and let's grab something to eat.
Yeah, let's do it, bro. Hungry.
Woke up in the morning, broke all my chains. Money's my language, but I'm nobody's slave. Open my eyes, see the crabs in the barrel. Cause I'm on the rise, an American Pharaoh. I'm young and I'm black in America. They stop it, they frisk us and jealous up. I don't understand what they jealous of. See, they crucify us and nail us up.